Hello and welcome to all of the fire signs for this, your first half of March reading and predictions. Couple things right off the bat. I have been experiencing terrible camera problems, so it is entirely likely that there will be one or two glitches. I do not edit my videos, so if there's a glitch, I'm just going to pause until my camera manages to figure itself out, and then I'll dive right back into your video exactly where I left off. What else? This is a general reading, so anything that may be construed in this video as specific advice specifically for you, I just want to remind you, this is a general reading for entertainment purposes. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a certified financial advisor. So, please take things with a grain of salt and recognize that you have your own free will. And you should be making decisions based on your own heart and your own intuition. Sometimes things that you hear may help to influence your decision, but your decision should not be based solely upon a psychic reading. All right. So, what else? Oh, so for those of you that don't know how I do my readings consist of 6 cards. We look at where you're at now. And for the purposes of this video, we'll be pulling a card or two for where you're at now here at the end of February 2023. We're going to look at what you're focusing on. We're going to have a look at difficult influences. We're going to pull a card called This Makes Sense, and that is the card that starts to pull things together. We look at unexpected influences, and we also have a look at your outcome and where we think that you might be at. Both the cards and myself think that, your energies are going to be at come mid-March for the purposes of this video. I do leave all of the cards face down until I'm actually ready to read them and turn them over. I do receive psychic intuitive insights. You may see me staring off into the distance during this, and that is because I am picking up some energies from, let's just call it the ethereal realm. All right. So I will put timestamps in the description, but I do encourage people to watch, in particular, if you are a fire sign, I encourage you to watch some of the other fire sign videos, because very often what comes up for Aries can also appear in the Leo or the Sagittarius. Oftentimes, yep, and there goes the camera. All right, let's move back into this. My lighting is a little bit different now in order to try and prevent the camera from doing its little thing again. Okay. So what I was saying is that quite often what comes up for one fire sign can also appear in another fire sign's video. So I do encourage you to watch some of the other videos. My videos are intended towards the birth sign. But yeah, we all have different signs in our charts. So I do welcome, if you've got a lot of either Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius in your chart, but it's not your actual birth sign, I encourage you to watch these videos as well. Let's get started with the Aries. I'm just going to tap into your energy, Aries, and we're going to look into where are you now. This video is being recorded at the very end of February 2023. And the intention of the majority of the video is predictions and energies and outcomes for, I have cards falling. And we have another card that has come out for the first half of March 1st through the 15th. Okay, so we do have 3 cards that have come out for you, Aries, for where you're at now. Let's have a look at what you are focusing on. I'm getting called very strongly over here to the angels and ancestors for what you are focusing on, Aries. What are the Aries focusing on March 1st through the 15th, 2023? Which card is that? Okay, I don't know if you can see. Is it that one? This one. It's that one. Okay. All right, let's have a look at difficult influences. Difficult influences for Aries, first half of March 2023. Okay, we do have a card that's poking that finger. Nope, it didn't. It went back in the deck. So let's keep trying. Difficult influences. There we go. You see that card? Actually, there's more than one card sticking up there. Is that one there too? Yeah. We've got a few difficult influences for you here, Aries, for the first half of March 2023. Whoops, sorry, that was probably pretty loud in the microphone. Let's have a look at the card that I call This Makes Sense. I am getting called over here to a deck that, it's funny, I always set the deck out thinking, we're not going to use that deck, and then I get called towards it. You can see there was a card sticking up there. All right. And what about cards? How about if you tell me about some unexpected influences for Aries for the first half of March 2023? Yeah, we're definitely getting into the fairies here. Unexpected influences for the Aries. Whoops, and that card's on the floor, so I am going to disappear. Anything else? Is there anything else? Yep. Okay. Unexpected influences. We do have two cards for you, Aries. Okay. And let's have a look at your general overall outcome for, and I'm getting called back to the fairies. General overall outcome. Oh, yep. Yep. Is there anything else? Just go through the rest of the deck here. Yep, there's another one. And we have another card on the floor. Okay. I will collect these cards up in the order in which they came out. So that card was first, that's second to last. Okay. Let's get started with actually reading your cards here, Aries. Where are you at now? Okay. Aries, we do have the creativity card. So you are in a very creative place at the moment. However, you have two other cards that have come up with this card that are influencing your creativity at this time. And the two other cards indicate that there are some what can be interpreted as some negative influences in your creativity right now. You have the Seven of Clouds, also known as the Seven of Swords, which is the politics card. And you also have this conditioning card here. Now, the conditioning card is the equivalent to the devil in the traditional tarot. So you do have these other influences coming in for you right now, Aries, and they may be detrimentally affecting your creativity and your ability to truly tap into this powerhouse that you have behind you. Being a fire sign, you are all about action and taking action and getting the ball rolling and so on. And, you know, that creativity definitely plays into that. But right now, you have the politics coming up and you have this conditioning card. Like I said, the conditioning card is the equivalent to the devil card in the traditional tarot. And what this is telling me is that with the politics card coming up, you've got some external influences coming in, and it's making you question if what you are doing is right, rather than allowing your creativity to flow through for you. The Devil card has a similar meaning to this Seven of Swords card, and that is that The Devil card is about the ego coming in. The Devil card is about, again, external influences. It's about going into, what is somebody else saying? What's somebody else going to think? What will the neighbors think? It's about the little devil sitting on your shoulder, whispering in your ear, telling you to do bad things. And then the little angel over here is sitting on your shoulder, telling you to do good things. And you have this push and pull that happens when this card appears. And this card refers to conditioning, because we go into our conditioning when this card appears. We go into our ego, we go into our conditioning, we go into what we've been told, rather than sitting in our heart center, knowing what is true for us. And so all of this is coming up for you right now, here at the end of February 2023. So Aries, let's move into where this is going to come out for you. And let's see if you're going to be able to move through some of these blockages and so on, because the Seven of Swords that's come up and the Devil card that's come up, this conditioning card that's come up, is indicating that there are some really, really powerful lessons right now for you to learn, Aries. Some really, really important things for you to begin to go within. These cards are indicating to me that you've been allowing this chatter to come in from outside of yourself. And this is a push for you to go towards growth. Yeah, focus. Okay, we're looking at the focusing card. Focus on your inner knowing. Okay, I'm not sure that that's actually coming into full focus, but this is the medicine mother that has come up for you. And the saying down here at the bottom of the card is focus on your inner knowing, which is exactly what I said about these cards coming up, is that there's some really, really important lessons for you coming up about getting out of this conditioning, getting out of the politics, getting out of listening to, the little devil and the little angel that sits on our shoulders are actually the voices. The devil in particular that sits on our shoulder is the voices of teachers, whether those be spiritual, religious, or traditional educational teachers, whether those be parents, family members, aunts, uncles, and so on. That is this little devil that sits on our shoulder. And the angel on the other side is our heart center. Do we resonate with the lessons of all of this chatter over here, or what's in here for us? Okay. And so this is your focus for you for March 1st through the 15th, Aries. Focus on your own inner knowing. The other thing with the medicine mother coming up is that you are being asked, as you're going through this change and shift, as you are being pushed towards really, really going within yourself and learning what's important for you, pay attention to your health. With the medicine mother coming up, pay attention to your health. I'm not saying that there's something bad coming up with your health, but it does mean that perhaps we need a little bit more self-care. A couple more long baths with candles and some Epsom salts, maybe going out for long walks in nature if that's your thing. You know what? Hug a tree. Any of these suggestions for self-care are coming up with the medicine mother coming up. And all of this self-care will help you to go deeper within, Aries. Difficult influences. Okay. All right. So you are currently in unknown territory. That's one of your difficult influences, right? And that's what I was saying with these first couple of cards that came up, is that there are clearly lessons for you to learn right now, Aries. And when we have lessons to learn, it does indicate that we are in an unknown territory. We're wandering on a path that we're really not all that sure about. But this card is indicating you're exactly where you are meant to be, even though it doesn't feel good all of the time. Just know that you are where you're meant to be. I also want to point out that on this card up at the top, there is an owl. The wise old owl on this card indicates that you are being guided by a divine wisdom or divine guidance, a wisdom that is higher than ourselves. That's what this owl up here in the corner indicates for you. Difficult influence. Also, you have breaking trail. A breakthrough is at hand. This card is a card of impatience when it lands in the difficult influences. It's saying that there is something coming up for you, but it's not quite there yet because it's in the difficult influences. And this is making you a little bit impatient, Aries. And being that you're a fire sign and you're all about action, if something hasn't come to fruition yet and you're pushing for that to happen, there is this impatience, and that can be a challenge for you as well. Rainbow Blessings is the third card in your challenges. Blessings are showering your life. And again, if you notice the picture on this card, the picture on this card indicates that you are within the castle, but as you leave the castle, you're going out into this beautiful nature and waterfalls and rainbows and so on, but you're not there yet. So again, this is reinforcing this impatience that is coming up for you for the first half of March 2023. Let's have a look at this makes sense, right? Okay. Abundance, the apple tree is coming up for you in this makes sense. This card makes sense tying this first portion of the cards that have been turned over together, in that as you learn these lessons, as you honor this inner knowing, as you begin to go within and let go of the conditioning, let go of the politics and the chatter, as you move through this unknown territory, there is an opportunity for so much more abundance to come into your life. But part of what you need to do is let go of the past. Okay. Let go of the old way of doing things. Yes, you are a mover, a shaker, a fire sign. You want to push forward. You want things done, but you're in unknown territory. And this makes sense because right now, so much of the world is changing. The way that we work with finances and money is changing. The way that we interact with each other is changing. The way that we work, so many of us no longer work in an office and commuting and in person. And if we do still do that, we're doing it on a different scale or a different level from what we used to be doing. So all of these cards are indicating you can still have the abundance that you want to achieve, but there's much change that needs to come up, needs to be processed. Okay. So in your unexpected influences, Aries, you do have the Star, which is a positive card, but you've also got the Five of Pentacles now, or Five of Autumn, as is this card, or represented. The Five of Pentacles is represented by the season of autumn in the fairy deck. Now, when the fives appear in the minor arcana, they usually give us an indication that there's a little bit of a conflict, that maybe we need to be asking for some help. We don't have all the answers within ourselves. And so this is positive in that the Star indicates you have the ability to move mountains, and you have the ability to be able to move forward with so much positivity and beauty out there. There's hope, there's optimism, there's all these things. But this card, the Five of Autumn or the Five of Pentacles, is indicating that as you move through this shift, Aries, you are most likely going to have to ask for some help and some guidance. Keeping in mind, going back to the conditioning and the Devil card, keeping in mind that as you ask for help and guidance in the coming weeks, you need to take that with a grain of salt, because your focus is your own inner knowing here. Okay. So you are going to have to ask for some help, but there's hope, there's optimism, there is abundance coming up. Let's have a look at your general overall outcome. Oh my goodness. What are the chances? Okay. I did the earth signs a few hours ago, and the earth signs had similar cards. At least one of them, I can't remember if it was Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. I believe it was Capricorn, had almost identical cards come out in their overall outcome. These are the 4 cards in the order in which they came out. And guess what this card is? Look at the number on top. That is the 15 of the major arcana in the tarot. What was the very first? And I keep going back to this card. This is the 15. This is the devil card. Aries, you have the devil card twice. This is an indication that even though you are focusing on your inner knowing, come March 15th, mid-March, in and around that time. And again, let me remind you that dealing with the ethereal realm and trying to translate timing into this reality is a little bit difficult. So the timing may be a little bit off, but you do have the devil coming up again, the ego coming up, these outside influences coming up. And what I'm going to say is that here at the end of February 2023, where you're at now, you've got this devil card coming up, you've got this conditioning card coming up for you, and it's coming up again for mid-March. You know what? It's most likely going to bring up a tower moment. This card is the equivalent to the tower in the traditional tarot. This is an indication that you are still holding on to belief systems. I'm just going to read it right from the card. Let go of belief systems that no longer work for you. An important life-changing event is about to occur. A situation will lead to significant opportunities, but the tower needs to fall before you can move into this abundance and this star energy that is being indicated. Now, the next card in this series is the Strength card. This is indicating that you do have the strength as well as the courage in order to be able to get through this tower moment, to push through this ego, conditioning, devil, all of this energy that's coming up, all of these old systems, right? Like I said, the devil, the ego, conditioning, all of these represent old systems. They represent teachers of old, teaching the old way, whether that be traditional education, traditional religion, traditional history. We know that history, for example, is not written in stone. Okay, well, it's kind of written in stone, but we're learning new things every day. There's new things coming up. There's things coming up out of the permafrost as it thaws that is changing the way that we know about the things that we know about human history. And everything that we've been told about human history is not necessarily the gospel truth. And so this is part of the process right now for you, Aries. Let go of the ego, let go of this conditioning, let go of this devil. Okay. And you do have the strength, you have power, you have kindness, you have forgiveness. Okay, you have the strength to move through this. The final card that you have here is the 9 of Summer. And what this card is indicating, it's the equivalent to the 9 of Cups. Wishes do come true. Okay, wishes come true, dreams are fulfilled, a magical time of life. So what this is telling me is that there is a huge change, huge shift. This is not unexpected, Aries, for the beginning of March 2023. There are huge changes and shifts coming. There is a celestial alignment. I'm not going to get into the astrology. That's not my area of expertise. If you do want to learn about the astrology and the astrological planetary alignment that's coming up in March, please, by all means, I encourage you to consult with other experts in that area. But I can tell you, it is indicating huge change for many, many, many people on the planet, and in particular, obviously the Aries, but there's obviously good things that are going to come out of this. Okay. You've got these really, really positive cards in your reading indicating that there is a positive outcome, but there is this process that you're going to have to go through, Aries, in order to be able to just release the past, release the beliefs of the past, let go, because those beliefs, our old way of doing things, are not going to serve us moving forward. Okay, Aries, thank you so much. I know this was a long reading, but I really appreciate you being here and staying until the end. Greatly appreciate it. If you do want to support my channel, I would love a like. And as well, I have just set it up so that I'm able to accept crypto as a tip. So if you liked what you see here, please support my channel. Thank you so much, and we will see you in mid-March. Okay, let's move into the Leos. I am fully anticipating a couple of glitches with my computer, with my camera. As mentioned at the very start of the video, I have been experiencing a couple of difficulties, so I do apologize. Like I said, I don't edit my videos, so bear with me. All right, Leos, let's get going with your reading. Really, really exciting, huge energies coming up for the Aries, who I just did earlier in this video as well. I just want to mention that the Capricorn video had cards come out as their outcome almost identical to the Aries. So if you do have a lot of another sign in your chart, Leo, I do encourage you to watch some of the other videos as well. Okay, let's get going and let's have a look at where you're at now, Leo. Where are the Leos at now here, end of February 2023? Okay, one went back in, that one did not. All right, is there anything else for Leo? End of February 2023. I do have one card that's, nope, it's not. Is it that one? Yep. Okay. Okay. Let's have a look at what you're focusing on, Leo. What is Leo focusing on for the first half of March 2023, March 1st through the 15th, approximately? As you know, timing can be a little strange. Okay, Leo. Hey, come on, cards. You said you wanted to come out to play. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else for Leo to focus on? Sense that there's at least one more card in here for you, Leo. One more card for Leo for the focus. I'm going to do it one more time. Let's see if there's anything else that comes out for Leo to focus on. Nope, I guess not. Okay. Let's grab your card from the floor. Okay. Let's have a look, Leo, at your difficult influences. Wow, that one came up very clear that I was meant to pull from this deck. Okay, a few difficult influences. Is that one going to fall? Is it going to fall? Yep. Few difficult influences coming out from the fairies for you, Leo, for the first half of March. All right, we are going to leave these face down. And let's move into a card that just makes sense. Nope, this deck. Okay. What makes sense for the Leos first half of March? Oops, there's one. Okay. Okay. Unexpected influences. Where are we going? Oh, you know what? I'm getting called in two different directions. So I'm going to pull two different cards from two different decks here. Unexpected influences for the Leo's first half of March 2023. No. Nope. Good influences. One more time. Let's try it this way. There we go. Okay, I honestly did not see this many cards coming out for you, Leo. There's definitely this one. I think there's one more in here. Unexpected influences. Those ones definitely don't want to go in. Okay. Do we need one more card on top here? I think so. Yeah, we've got lots of cards coming out for you. Oh, and there goes the camera. Told you we were going to have camera problems. Not unexpected. Okay, there we go. All right. Funny, I said the word unexpected just as that card flipped out. Leo, we're going to pay really close attention to that because the cards that I was pulling was for your unexpected influences. So that one should be exciting. Let's have a look at your general overall outcome. Oh, that's interesting. I had no intention on using this deck. And general overall outcome. One card's already fallen out of this deck for you. General overall outcome. And there's another card. Anything else? And we have another card on the bottom, on the floor over here. That was the first card. Second card. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay. Oh, Leo. We do have two cards for you. We have the equivalent to the King of Cups over here with the healing card. And we also have the equivalent to the King of Pentacles. Wow. Lots of masculine energy coming up for you here, Leo, with these two cards. Two King cards, which is an indication that, okay, so masculine, feminine, when it comes to the cards, it's about masculine and feminine, not male and female. And it's about what those energies represent. So energies of the feminine tend to be a little bit more softer, perhaps a little bit more politically correct. The Kings have a more direct approach at things, perhaps a little bit more authoritative at times. Okay, but both of these cards are indicating positive things for where you're at right now, Leo, that you do have abundance in your life right now, as well as healing. An abundance of healing is happening right now for you. Really, really positive cards. Okay. But I am going to put a twist on this, and that is that through an abundance of healing, because the abundance card is not just about financial abundance. It can indicate financial abundance, but it also indicates abundance in general, including abundant health, abundant money, abundance of energy, abundance of positivity, all of these things. Okay. Now, the reality is that when we have an abundance of healing, it can be a little bit uncomfortable for us because it usually indicates a large shift. So without looking at the rest of the cards that have come up for you yet, Leo, and hopefully I will tie them all back together. Not hopefully. It will all tie into this. I just know it will. That's probably why I'm going in this direction. The abundance of healing can be a little bit uncomfortable for us because it does require us to let go of the past, let go of old ways of doing things. This is a common theme that has been coming up time and time and time again, moving into March of 2023. There is a celestial alignment that's happening in March that is causing huge shifts for humanity. I'm not going into the details of it because it is not my area of expertise. I can just suggest or encourage you towards, if you are interested in that, by all means, I encourage you to research that more deeply. But I can say the celestial alignment that's coming up in March has huge implications for many of us, particularly those who are more sensitive to energies and the ethereal realm. So you do have abundance in your life right now, King of Abundance. You've got this healing card, abundance of healing, indicating huge shifts right now, leaps and bounds of change for you. What are you focusing on? Renewal, the rain and the renewal. Okay. Renewal is an indication that it is time for us to let go of the past. It no longer serves us. And the reason that this card has rain indicating renewal is because it's about washing away, releasing the past, wash it away. It no longer serves our highest good. Let it go. Right? And it is representative of water. This is the King of Cups, and there goes the camera. Okay. This card is the King of Cups. Cups represents the element of water. This card indicates healing, letting go of the past, renewal. And you've got a reinforcement or reiteration of this, Leo, here, that you need to, this is your focus for the first half of March. Rain, renewal, letting go of the past, healing through that. Let's have a look at your difficult influences. Oh, interesting. Okay. You have the Three of Pentacles, also known as the Three of Autumn. This card is about following your passions, but it's showing up in your difficult influences, indicating that right now you may be feeling a little bit distracted, like you're not following your passions. That actually makes sense when we look at all of this renewal and healing that's in your chart right now, because when we're going through a healing phase, it's very difficult to focus upon things outside of that healing realm. And so, yeah, the Three of Autumn, it makes sense that it's showing up in your difficult influences because you are having difficulty focusing on things that don't relate to your healing. You also have the Five of Wands, and the Five of Wands indicates that whenever a five comes up from the minor arcana, whether it's the Five of Wands, five of Cups, it doesn't matter. It indicates a gentle push or a pull, some opposing values, opposing opinions coming up. And so, yeah, feeling at odds with yourself and with others is in your difficult influences. So this is magnified at the first half of March for you, Leos. And you also have the Four of Cups. And again, this is a card of being distracted, maybe being a little bit discontented with what's going on. Makes sense as you're going through a huge changing shift and renewal. If this is your focus, to change, shift, renew, heal, then it makes sense that you may be feeling distracted and discontented, because as we heal, as we open up, as we recognize that things are not always as we once believed them to be, we can be discontented. Okay, so with these three cards, you have a 3, 4, and 5 here, although this is not specifically the order that they came up in, but you do have a 3, a 4, and a 5 here. It's an indication that this is a phase that you're going through, and that it's a cycle, and that there is a certain logic to the way that it needs to play out. Okay, so this shift, this healing that you're going through, this renewal that you're going through, there is some, how do I put this? The words are failing me right now, but there's a progression that needs to happen right now, Leo. And unfortunately, it's something that, you know, when we're healing, a lot of us want to jump immediately from feeling crappy to feeling good, feeling icky to, yes, I'm all better. And the reality is that there is a progression that has to happen. You know, we can't just jump from one to the other. Unfortunately, it's just not part of this reality for us. And these cards, having the 3, 4, 5 lined up like this, is an indication that this is something that you have to experience and you can't just jump ahead. Let's have a look at this. Makes sense. Right. Okay. Make plans and focus is your This Makes Sense card for the first half of March 2023. And what this is saying is that you've got these difficult influences here of not being able to focus, having your attentions drawn elsewhere, doing the, oh, squirrel kind of thing. Okay. But you need to be focusing. You need to be making plans for the future. Let's have a look at unexpected insights. Okay. Unexpected insights. You've got transformation, fellow travelers. You need to begin now, and integration. Okay. The transformation card has a phoenix on it. And this card is super, super important from this deck, from the Sacred Traveler deck by Denise Lynn. This card is kind of the death card and the tower card rolled into one. It's the phoenix. It's about transformation. It is about letting go of the past. And the message on the card is a fresh new way of living emerges. And it's interesting that this card came up for you, Leo, in unexpected insights. It's not really unexpected though, is it? Because as you're going through an abundance of healing, okay, and as you are going through this phase of renewal, it's not unexpected. And with the 3, 4, and 5 coming up in succession like this, it's not unexpected that you've got this coming up in your unexpected insights. Okay. There's huge transformation happening right now. And as I mentioned as well, in the month of March, we're anticipating sort of a new big shift and push towards a new way of living. Fellow travelers is indicating that you don't need to go through this alone, Leo. Reach out, ask for help. And what this card is saying is that even though you may be hesitant to ask for help, the help is all around you. So even if you don't reach out and ask, it's still going to be there. Begin now. Take your first step. Okay. All of these cards are indicating that you are already taking those first steps. You are going through this healing phase, but this is just kind of reinforcement to step into this new world and this new way of doing things. And you also got the integration card. Remember, I was called to pull another card. Now, if you look at this card down at the bottom, you have the snake eating its tail. Here you have the yin and the yang. You've got the sun and the moon represented. You've got the eagle and the swan represented. All of this is indicating that there is balance, and there is balance that is going to be coming as you integrate your healing, as you move into this new phase that the earth and her cycles are moving into. Again, the snake represents cycles. This represents cycles. This represents for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. All of this is about balance. So there will be balance from all of this other stuff that's coming up for you. Now, you do have 4 cards in your general overall outcome. All right. What do you have here? In the order in which they came up, you have the 5 of Cups. Now, the 5 of Cups is, again, whenever we have the 5, I mentioned this already, with this 5, this is the 5 of Wands or the 5 of Spring. You have the 5 of Cups coming up here, and the 5 of Cups indicates that there is this want or desire to brood over the past, pay attention to the past. You're, how do I want to say this? Okay. I don't know if this is going to come into focus or not, but you'll notice here that the character on the card is staring at these cups that are spilled. This is the equivalent of crying over spilled milk. What the character on the card doesn't realize is that there's still 2 cups behind him that are filled. Okay, but instead he is facing the spilled cups and he is brooding over them and worrying over them. So one of the general overall outcomes for you come March is that there's going to be this desire in your heart to want to cry over spilled milk. Okay, but you're being encouraged not to, because right next to the 5 of Cups, you have the Fool. The Fool is the very first card of the entire tarot. It is all about new beginnings, brand new beginnings. And the best way to approach a new beginning, Leo, is with a little bit of foolishness and fun and folly and a little bit of silliness. I mean, not going crazy in the silliness, but it's about embarking on a new way of life and putting some fun into the new way of life. Okay. You also have the 2 of Wands here. Now, the 2 of Wands is that there's unexpected something coming up for you. The Wands is the element of fire. It's the element of action, but it's early action. Okay. It indicates that there is a choice that you need to make as well. Okay. This makes sense. I'm going to tie all of these cards together in just a moment. And the final card that you have coming out is the 4 of Pentacles. Again, holding on to something that no longer serves your highest good. You are being somewhat stubborn and inflexible. Okay, so reading these cards together is your final outcome for, coming up mid-March 2023. You're crying over spilled milk because as this huge change and shift happens in March, you have this innate, perhaps, want and desire to hold on to the past, right? You've got another card in your general overall outcome about holding on to the past. But the cards are indicating that you don't have to. And you have a choice, right? This 2 of Wands is indicating you have a choice to make. You can either move into the energy of the Fool, have some fun with the new changes and shifts, or you can stay in the past. And so, Leos, by mid-March, prepare yourself for having to make a decision about the direction that your life is going to take. And it is going to be extremely important because of the celestial alignment and the shifts that are coming for you to make the decision about moving and shifting, right? 2 of Wands, making that choice. Moving and shifting into crying over spilled milk and brooding over the past. We're moving into the energy of the Fool and the folly and having some fun with life. All right. Thank you so much for being here, Leo. If you have enjoyed this, you can support my channel by giving me a like. And I've also set it up now so that I can be supported by crypto. So if you want, you can send me a little bit of a tip, and then I can continue to produce these videos for everybody. Thank you so much. Hello, Sagittarius. Let's move into your reading. Now, Sagittarius, let me warn you ahead of time. My camera has been acting up. My video card is acting up. I probably need a new computer, but not in my budget at the moment. So I do not edit my videos. I may reach out and pause it if my camera decides to go ballistic again. And then I will pick up your reading where I left off. I do apologize for this, and I hope that you'll stick with me. And these readings do resonate with a significant number of you guys out there. So I'm just hoping that you guys will stick with me despite the technical problems. All right, Sagittarius, let's get into your reading. We're going to look at where you're at now. Now, this video is being recorded at the end of February with the intention of doing reading predictions and looking at where you're going to come out come mid-March. But we always start with where you're at now. I just pulled one card. I am getting called to go through the deck one more time. I think there's one more card in here for you. Where is Sagittarius? Okay, well, that's more than one card, and another card, and another card. We're going to just shuffle those cards up because, yeah. All right. Let's pick these cards up. All right. Let's shuffle through this smaller portion. There's a few more cards. Okay. Let's have a look at what you're focusing on right now, Sagittarius. What is your focus for the first half of March 2023? I'm getting pulled. Oh, okay. Where are we going? What are you focusing on? Okay. I'm getting pulled over here, but I do suspect that this card's probably going to require a clarification card. Focus for Sagittarius. Sagittarius, what's coming up for me right now, intuitively, as I'm pulling your cards, is that there may be some similarities with the Aries reading and the Capricorn reading this month. We won't know until the cards actually come out, but I'm just sensing that there may be some similarities in the energies. Okay. Sagittarius, what is Sagittarius focusing on? There we go. Anything else? Okay. I'm getting called really strongly to pull a second card for you, Sagittarius, for your focus on this deck. So let's go ahead and do that. Sagittarius focus. There we go. I knew there was more in there for you. All right. Let's have a look at your difficult influences. Whoa, that was fast. Definitely going to the fairy cards for your difficult influences. Difficult influences for Sagittarius. First half of March 2023. We do have one card that's come out. Is there anything else? Just the one card. Okay. Right, you are getting called over here for what's making sense for you guys. What's making sense? Uh-oh. I'm going to disappear. All right, we're going to put these in the order in which they came out. So that last card that flipped out onto the floor, I've put that down so that it will be read in the order in which they came out. We're going to have a look at your unexpected influences. Going back over here to the Osho Zen. Unexpected influences for Sagittarius. Here's one. Unexpected influences and outcomes. Anything else? One more. All right. That one. And let's look at your general overall outcome. Where are we going for general overall outcome? Okay. This is a deck that I wasn't planning on using. It is a traditional tarot deck. Right. General overall outcome. Where's Sagittarius going to be? What's going to be going on with Sagittarius mid-March? Okay. We've got two cards that have come out of this deck. So let's have a look. Sagittarius, where are you at now? Ooh, Sagittarius. Wow, wasn't expecting that. Look at what card we got. This card is the Thunderbolt. This is all about change. This card is the equivalent to the Tower in the traditional tarot. This is a card of huge, significant change and shifts. Not surprising to get this card moving into March of 2023. If you haven't watched any of the other videos, you'll notice, and if you do decide to go in and tap in and watch any of the other videos, if you do have a significant amount of one of the other zodiac signs in your chart, you're going to notice that there are tower moments coming up for a lot of people right now. Okay. Huge changes, huge shifts happening on this planet. As I mentioned, there is a celestial alignment coming up in March that is going to make some changes for us. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of that because celestial alignments and astrology is not my forte. Being a psychic and intuitive and reading the cards is my specialty. So I do encourage you, look at what's coming. But what this is telling me right now is that changes, shifts, tower moments, very dramatic change for you coming up, Sagittarius. This actually is falling where you're at now. So you are already in the throes of this change. It's not going to be as unexpected as it is for others because this was pulled with the intention of where you're at now. Okay. Now, this is a positive card to have right next to the Tower or the Thunderbolt, and that is guidance. This is an indication that there are beings, otherworldly beings, helping you and assisting you and guiding you through this change and shift that's happening. And ultimately, there will be a harmony in all of this. And in fact, as I said, it's not unexpected for you, Sagittarius, to be going through this. You knew this was coming. And I always say forewarned is forearmed. And so you're being supported through this. And so there is this 10 of Cups energy for you. 10 of Cups is a very, very happy, positive card. 10 of Water, 10 of Cups. It's all about being at peace, accepting where we are and accepting what we're moving through. And you know what? Guidance, these angels that appear on this card are here to help you and support you through this. Let's have a look at what you're focusing on right now, Sagittarius. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you've got the Island card, detachment. And it is right next to the Moon card, which is right next to the Traveler card, move in a new direction. Sagittarius, what this is telling me is that as you're going through this thunderbolt moment, despite being guided, divinely guided and supported, you have this urging to move into a place of detachment. Okay. And when we're in a place of detachment, we are basically practicing avoidance. And Sagittarius, this isn't encouraged. But the fact that it's coming up right next to the moon is about paying attention to our intuitive messages. You can't be paying attention to your intuitive messages if you're practicing detachment. The other thing is that you can't move in the new direction with the Traveler if you're practicing detachment. So your focus for the first half of March 2023 is you're in this place of detachment right now. Okay. Now, there are two ways to interpret the detachment. I'm going to go backwards just a little bit. We can either detach from our emotions and choose to almost ignore them and pretend like they don't exist. And when we do that, we can't take note of our intuitive messages. We can't move into a new place because what we're actually doing is ignoring. Okay. But there is another side to the detachment card. And the other side to the detachment card is detaching from the old way of doing things, detaching from the voices in our heads of our mothers, our teachers, our religious leaders, our political leaders, all chitter-chattering away. At some point in time, we need to detach from that. We need to go within, listen to our own hearts, what's true and what's resonating for us. Then we move forward. Okay. So like I said, for some of you Sagittarius, the first way that I interpreted this is going to resonate for you, where you are detached from the world, you're pulling back from the world and you're going, yep, I'm just not dealing. For others, you're doing the, yes, I'm detaching from that. I am not listening to this blathering that's going off, this chattering that's going off, this telling me how I should live. And for those of you that are using the detachment focus in that way, this pulling back and not listening to this chatter anymore, you are going to begin to focus on your intuitive messages in a really big way. And you're going to be able to move in that new direction. This is actually the more positive way of doing it. Because if you've already gone through this thunderbolt moment, this tower moment, it stands to reason that you're not listening to the chatter anymore. Let's have a look at your difficult influences. Right. All right. Difficult influences is the Hermit. Okay. The Hermit is about detaching from the world for the purposes of going within ourselves and discovering who we are, listening to our hearts, and then following that. Okay. The Hermit can also be about finding a mentor or stepping into the role of a mentor. Given that this has come up in your difficult influences, Sagittarius, this is something that you're bumping up against. Okay. So my first interpretation of this is that for some of you, you're detaching in the wrong way. You're detaching in the way of practicing avoidance. This coming up in your difficult influences is a reinforcement that for some of you, you are detaching in an unhealthy way. You're pulling back because you're practicing avoidance. That's not the right way to go about it. The Hermit showing up is that you need a break from society, but taking a break from society means that you're going to be doing internal work. This showing up in your difficult influences is indicating that you're detaching or pulling back from society. You are taking a break from society for the purposes of avoidance. Okay. And that's not a healthy way of doing it, Sagittarius. So encouragement here to detach in a way that promotes self-healing, self-development, that promotes all of these growth patterns, okay, rather than avoidance. I said at the beginning of the video, take whatever comes up in this video as advice with a grain of salt. So take this with a grain of salt, however you want to take it, Sagittarius. But, the advice would be to practice this hermit in a healthy way, where you are practicing self-care, where you are going within, you're getting in touch with your heart, you're creating that heart-mind connection, you're no longer listening to this chatter that's going on. And take that how it resonates. All right, this makes sense. Voyage of the heart. Okay. You are on a voyage of the heart right now, Sagittarius. Are you going to follow your heart into healthy detachment or avoidance? That's your question for the first half of March 2023, Sagittarius. How will you interpret these two cards? How will you integrate these two cards? This card is telling me that it's a voyage of your heart. It's about getting in touch with the heart. There is another card, unknown territory. Okay. When we have experienced a tower moment or a thunderbolt moment, even if we are then receiving divine guidance, it stands to reason that we would be stepping into unknown territory. Okay. But this card here, that was a loud crash. Not sure whether my microphone picked that up or not, but my son just dropped something downstairs. This card here, you'll notice that there is an owl up here, and this owl does represent, as with this card, that there is guidance and support coming up for you from all around. Okay. Let's have a look at what is unexpected. Oh, what is unexpected? All right. Unexpected influences, going with the flow. This is the Ace of Cups. This is about new beginnings in a really, really positive, beautiful way, but only if you are going with the flow. When you go with the flow, you will listen to your inner voice. Interesting that you've got inner voice here, right? How do we get in touch with our inner voice? We move into a healthy hermit and a healthy detachment. And again, your focus for this month was, oh my goodness, the moon. Take note of your intuitive messages and move into a new direction. Ace of Cups and inner voice is in your unexpected influences. You know what? These two cards in unexpected influences are not all that unexpected, Sagittarius, because, oh my goodness, this is what you're focusing on. You are manifesting what you're focusing on. You're focusing on paying attention to your intuitive messages and moving in a new direction. And unexpected influences is saying that. Confirmation in the cards over and over and over again. You do have a couple of other cards in your unexpected influences. Now, unexpected influences, you also have the Seven of Cups. This card represents projections, and you also have the Nine of Wands representing exhaustion. Okay, what this is telling me, Sagittarius, is that if you're not going with the flow, and if you are practicing avoidance with the Hermit and Detachment cards here, then what you will actually bring into your life is going to be exhaustion. And what you're actually going to be doing is accepting the projections of others instead of going within your heart. Okay. The overall outcome of going with the flow, listening to your inner voice, can be this one. This is the Master. Okay. But what this card is telling me, when you have these 5 cards in your unexpected influences. You have 2 cards, and these 2 cards came up first. The Ace of Cups and your inner voice. If you follow this, you are a master. If you listen to the projections and go into a place of exhaustion and practice avoidance, you are a master. This card is indicating as an unexpected influence, which really isn't unexpected, but I think it bears repeating. And I think that's why this card has come up for you, Sagittarius. You are the master of your own life. This bears repeating. You create what you have in your life. You are the master of your own manifestations. And so the fact that you've got 2 different ways that your manifestations can go, the fact that you've got 2 different ways that you can interpret the Hermit and the Detachment, there is still this duality that's going on for you, Sagittarius. And this card is reminding you of that duality. And you create your reality. General overall outcome, you've got the 7 of Swords and the 5 of Pentacles. Okay. Both of these cards indicate that you have choices to make right now, that depending on which choices you make is going to really depend on the future direction going forward through the rest of March and through the rest of 2023. The 7 of Swords is indicating that you've got to be wary of what's going on around you. You've got to really, really pay attention to, I'm going to go back to them again. The Hermit and the Island. Okay. If you're practicing avoidance, you're going to be moving into having to be wary all the time, having to pay attention to things, having to be cautious. You're going to move into this 5 of Pentacles where if you practice avoidance, there's the potential for losses, including financial losses. Okay. So, Sagittarius, going into the middle of March 2023, I encourage you, be the master of your own destiny. Pay really close attention to whether you're practicing avoidance or whether you are actually practicing a healthful detachment from the chatter and the belief systems of your past. You're the master. You're the master of your own destiny. With that, I'm going to leave off. Thank you so much for being here, Sagittarius. I greatly appreciate you all being here. If you would like to support my channel, please give me a like. And also, I have recently set it up so that I can receive tips in the form of cryptocurrency. So if you are so inclined and you like these videos and they resonate with you, then I'd love a tip. Thank you so much. See you in the middle of March.